Hi everyone, Atma Pranam. Today I want to talk about what happens when you connect with the Shiva Tattwa. And when you embrace that energy, any ritual that you do, and however way you connect with Shiva Tattwa, meditating, working with the water element, by doing abhishekam, by reading books about him, by doing breath work, and whichever way of divination that you follow, or whatever kind of spirituality that you're following, what happens when you're connecting with the Shiva Tattva. So today I'm going to talk about some of the changes that would happen along your process or after you finish your rituals or in a period of time when your consciousness rises, you would see reaction becomes an observation. And it's like you're just, when you were reactive before, you would see that calming you down and you're just observing how things are just passing by and the chaos becomes clarity. The whole chaos that's happening, you would actually understand why it's happening and what it would lead to and how that gives you clarity. And that's the process that you can live through in the moment. Attachment becomes awareness. So when you're attached to something, object or people, place, situation, it becomes an awareness in itself that you start seeing the futuristic situations and your perspective changes. So the attachments that you have, you understand why you have. How can you tackle that? How do you reduce your attachment and still balance your energy? Your ego softens and your humility increases. You're more compassionate in handling your situations. The way you see things, your behavior changes. The emotional storms loses its intensity because before it had reactions, it had behavioral patterns. It just completely changes to the point where the intensity loses and your emotional chaos just calms in a way where you're able to see why things were happening a certain way. What was your role play in there and how can you change that? When you change that role play of yours in there as a character in your life, in your journey, what kind of reactions would you get from that situation? To experience that, you need to connect with the Shiva. The silence becomes so comforting that it's not empty anymore. Because for the most part, people think, oh, I can't meditate. I can't just sit doing absolutely nothing. The other day, I was having a conversation with somebody and they said that I can't just be empty minded with anything. You can't disconnect with your phone. You can't just sit in your room. You can't eat without watching TV. So it's the fears that transforms with a detachment. And overthinking slows down to the point where you're witnessing everything. As if like the seasons and the days and the time passes by. It's not that you just become really slow and not do anything. You're just going to be more aware and more conscious into your actions that you're going to be taking either in your work, in your family, with your loved ones. However your behavior changes, your internal energy changes, so does your external energy changes. And the need to control just completely dissolves because that's where all the fear comes from, because you want to control everything. And the inner strength becomes stronger and your dependency lessens as you connect more and more to the Shiva. If you'd like to connect with your inner silence, you can go to my website and book a session with me. I will talk about in the future reels how you can connect with the Shiva. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.